What's up, you guys? My name is Tyler Rugge. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm gonna be roasting other pet YouTubers. I just know people are gonna be like, I can't believe you have the audacity to do this. You really think you're qualified and better than everyone in this video, don't you? Yes, I do. I really do think I'm better than everyone else. Let's just get that out of the way. Yes. However, that's not what this video is about. I just thought it would be fun to collaborate with some friends, other people in the hobby that I respect, and be able to show some of their enclosures. And I mean, my opinion's irrelevant, to be honest. And obviously, the people I chose to do this I know aren't going to have bad enclosures. But how funny would it be if someone sent me an enclosure and it was just terrible? And I'd have to like message them and be like, dude, this sucks. Like, do you want me to talk shit, you know? Yeah, I'm just gonna be showing enclosures from a few of my pet tube friends. And I know some people hate being called pet tuber, but deal with it. You make pet videos on YouTube, bitch. This was also consensual. People did agree to be part of this. So yeah, the people I'm gonna be roasting today are Diane from Reptilianis, Adam from Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles, and Emily and Ed from Snake Discovery. Let's get started, shall we? Who should we do first? Let's just do Snake Discovery first. Why not? So as I'm sure you guys are aware, Ed and Emily from Snake Discovery have their own zoo, Snake Discovery or Reptile Zoo. They definitely have an advantage because, you know, most of us keep reptiles in our home. They have a zoo. With that being said though, my expectations for this enclosure are very, very high. So we'll see.
Hey, this is Emily with Snake Discovery, and this is our prehensile-tailed skink exhibit, or monkey-tailed skink exhibit. It is 6 by 3 by 7 feet tall. We've got sliding glass doors. There are 2 over here who are buddies. One's in shed right now, and 1 over there. We have a bunch of things for them to climb on, kind of a tropical setup, and various vegetables in their salads every day, like right now collard greens, zucchini, sometimes there's sweet potatoes, and other greens in there too. We tried putting live plants in there, but they ate all the pothos, so we have to put fake plants in here. There's UVB up here, shining right down when they want to sit on these branches or leaves, and they have a fogger in here too that kind of helps with humidity, but also gives it kind of a neat effect too. So that is our monkey-tailed skink exhibit.
I mean, what can I say? That's an amazing enclosure. It's huge. They have so much space in there. Monkey-tailed skinks are also just really cool animals. So yeah, I mean, the enclosure is really good. It's huge. There's obviously a lot of climbing space. The background's really cool. I love everything about it. Really, the only thing that I would change is adding live plants to it and making it a lot more full with foliage. But as she said in the video, apparently they were eating the pothos. So that's the unfortunate thing with herbivores is, you know, they're gonna eat the plants. So really there is nothing I would change other than adding live plants. So I'm not really sure if there's some sort of tree you could put in there that maybe they wouldn't touch. Or if you could just get like, I don't know if there's any large, just edible plants that you could put in there and just replace every once in a while if they completely destroy them. Even if you somehow just put like pots and kind of attach them to the background and had like big edible plants for them, that would make the enclosure look really natural, and also allowing it to be something that they can eat. Because that's something that I deal with. Obviously, this is a much smaller scale, but with my bearded dragon, you know, they eat everything and destroy everything and poop on everything, so it's hard to give them real plants and whatnot, but I just try to put things in there that are actually edible for him, so he can munch on them if he wants to, and sometimes he, you know, completely eats the plant and then I just have to replace it. But while it's there, it's nice. I don't know if you guys have the time to deal with that or want to deal with that, but that's really the only thing I would change, potentially. But if you didn't change that, I would completely understand, because that's very annoying when, you know, an animal's just consuming the enrichment you give it. Other than that, like the enclosure, obviously, it's like, those monkey-tailed skinks probably have like the best lives out of any monkey-tailed skinks in captivity. So like 10 out of 10, good job. Visit the Snake Discovery Reptile Zoo if you haven't already, because just everything in there is gonna blow your mind. They have so many cool animals and enclosures, and I love Emily and Ed, they're amazing. Okay, so next up, Diane from Reptilianis. Let's see what Diane has for us.
Hi everybody, hope you're all doing fantastic. For those of you that don't know, my name is Diane. I'm Tyler's friend. I also have a YouTube channel called Reptilianis. You can check it out if you like. Today I have the pleasure of sharing one of my favorite vivariums with you. This is my Frogs & Co vivarium, and it houses my supposed pair of Dendrobates tinctorius cobalts. So we're gonna have a look and see what Tyler thinks about this enclosure. I'm crossing my fingers that he likes it.
Me too.
So I apologize for the glare first of all. It's hard to avoid in this room with all the lights everywhere. So this is the enclosure. It's one of my favorites in the room. And yes, it's a little overgrown on this side, but I kind of like the look and vibe that gives. There's all sorts of different kinds of peperomia. We have a Philodendron Brazil over here that's putting out a beautiful new leaf. There's a few other cuttings down here too. And right now I'm actually feeding all the dart frogs. So you can see that they're out and about enjoying themselves in their water dish. So this is the enclosure. There's some manzanita wood that comes up this way. They have a cocoa hut, which is back here behind all these plants where they live in and sleep in at night. And then yeah, this is just the whole enclosure here for them that they spend their days in. There are 2 misting nozzles, one up here and one over here, and they're set on the monsoon timer. It goes off every 4 hours for 16 seconds. They have their drainage layer here, which can be siphoned out here, so I can drain it out. And then every week I feed them every other day or so. They get a ton of fruit flies, which they eat covered in Repashy Calcium Super Plus. And then I also alternate with the Super Vite, and once a month they get the Repashy Vitamin A supplement. I believe this is a young pair. I think I have a male and a female, judging by their posture and the toe pad size, but I'm not 100% sure yet. My belief is I either have a pair or 2 males. Time will tell, I think, but they're definitely, I think, a reproductive size at this point. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed checking out my dart frog enclosure. Tyler, let me know what you think, my friend. I think it's a pretty nice enclosure. I would love to hear your feedback and constructive criticism if you can provide me with some that I can implement to improve the enclosure. Awesome.
First of all, love the dart frogs. They're so pretty. Second of all, that's an incredible enclosure. It is a bit overgrown, I will say, but I actually do also really like the look of it, because you know, when enclosures are very trimmed back and neat looking, it's always very impressive looking. But when things are more overgrown like that, to me it looks a lot more natural, like just kind of like in the jungle, as if you took a piece of the jungle and you're looking at it, you know? And I appreciate that. I really like it. Only constructive criticism, I guess, which again, like this is already a good enclosure and you really do not have to change anything to make it good. But I think the only thing that I would add maybe is like in the center, at least from what I can tell from the video, and sometimes videos are a little more deceiving than real life, but from what I can tell, it kind of looks like there's a lot of open space in the center of the enclosure other than some of the plants that are kind of creeping towards the center. And I see the one piece of wood that's kind of going towards the back corner. But it would be really cool if you could find like a really pretty piece of wood that kind of like branches out in different directions, you know, or even a couple pieces of wood that you could kind of make branch out more. Even if you could find a couple of the same kind of piece that's already there and just have a couple that kind of go and, you know, take up more of the negative space that's in the center. And then you could kind of have plants rooting to it and growing up it and stuff, if that makes sense. Like give some of the plants that are in there like wood to kind of vine around. I don't know if that makes sense, and I also don't know if the execution of that would be as good as it looks in my head, but I just feel like it would look cool if you had some kind of like wood piece or even like little vines and stuff kind of just going across the center. That's the only thing I can really say, but again, it looks really great the way it is, and I honestly am personally a fan of the overgrown enclosure look. Good job, Diane. I'm impressed. You received the seal of approval from me. And he also did provide a really cute video of them eating, which I just love. They look so stupid. So last but not least, we have another Canadian tuber, Adam from Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles. Let's see what he has for us.
Hey, it's Adam from Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles. Today I'm going to show you my multi-species tropical bioactive enclosure. The enclosure itself measures 36 across, 18 inches deep, and 24 inches high, so it's about 70 gallons. Tons of space for the 4 Amazon milk frogs and the 2 giant day geckos that are inside it. Both species don't like it super hot. The humidity's easy if you have a misting system, which we accomplished with an Exoterra monsoon, and the lighting we use is just a canopy made by Exoterra. It has 2 T8 bulbs in it. One is a sun blaster for the plants and one is a 6.0 UVB for the frogs and the geckos. Just a simple substrate and ABG that we made ourselves, along with a bunch of decor in the background, which is custom made from the spray foam and dry lock method, but we actually used a little bit of sand and dirt in areas where the dry lock didn't cover. In the background, we planted some plants along with inside the substrate, and we've got some things like Margravia on the sides of the waterfall, along with moss and things like that. Overall, it's a pretty simple design, but it's pretty eye-catching. When you're sitting on the couch, it's basically all you can watch is these amazing creatures. The giant day geckos are pretty active during the day, and the frogs are active during the night, and they actually call all night as well. But it's not very loud, it's not annoying, it's actually a great ambient sound. I love this enclosure, and I hope you do too.
Adam, I'm impressed. This is a really cool enclosure. I love day geckos. First of all, this enclosure has everything that I love in it. Day geckos, frogs. I love frogs, I love day geckos, and I also really like the enclosure itself. I love all the plants that you put in there because they all kind of have the same vibe. Like they're all similar colors. I mean, they're all green, obviously, like duh. But they're like all the same shades of green, you know? Like they're all, is what I'm saying even making any sense? Like, not all plants are green, okay? And not all plants are the same green. I feel like a lot of the plants you have in there are like kind of variegated in some way where they have dark and light green of the same shades. I'm usually drawn to wanting to put all these like bright, vibrant plants in enclosures. But when enclosures are all just full of green plants, it just makes it look very natural and very, you know, it's good. It's a good vibe. The only thing I think that I would change, and this is literally just personal preference, it really doesn't matter. I hope I don't hurt your feelings or anyone else's feelings, but I really don't like the look of bamboo. I don't know why. Bamboo, it's just not a vibe for me. So that piece of bamboo, I personally would replace it with a piece of cork just because I think it would fit more of like the jungle-y aesthetic. I know bamboo is completely fine and natural and good, and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna disagree with me here, but I just like personally am not a huge fan of the bamboo look. I prefer just like bark. So I would personally add like a cork round that's like kind of long and thin, or even just like a long kind of thin cork flat, or even just some sort of cool branch to have in the enclosure as more of, like it'd also be, yeah, it'd be cool to also maybe have like some sort of branch that has like some pieces that kind of go out in different directions to add more movement to the center of the enclosure. And then it would be cool to plant something going up the branch or the piece of cork, and this is very specific, you could literally plant whatever the frick you want in there. Even if you just added this anywhere in that enclosure, it would look really good, but I specifically think it would be cool if you rooted it to a piece of wood, and that is a Philodendron
Brazil,
which is just like one of my fave philodendrons. It's probably my fave philodendron. Like a variegated philodendron that, again, it kind of matches the same vibe, where there's different shades of green on the leaves, and it would just go with all the other plants in there really well. If you added like a piece of cork or a cool branch and you had the philodendron root to the wood and kind of climb up it, when you have like pothos or philodendron or anything like that root to like wood or a background, they start putting out these really big cool leaves. Like, I just think that would be really cool. Why is there a knocking sound? Hello? Anyways, your enclosure looks incredible the way it is. You do not have to change anything. That's just my own personal preference that like, I don't really like bamboo. So if you like bamboo, if that sparks joy within you, leave it there. Do whatever the heck you want, obviously. With that being said, that was me roasting. I really didn't do very much roasting in this video, but that is it for today's video. If you guys want to check out Snake Discovery, Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles, or Reptilianis, I will have all of their channels linked down below. They're all incredible channels and they all have different things that they offer as far as animal content, which I think is really cool. Just show them some love and support. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you guys are new here, check out my social media links, they'll be down in the description below, and I will see you guys in my next video.